was 20 years old the first time I walked the streets of Paris' Saint-Germain-des-Prés neighborhood as a college student. I came back a few years later, covering France as a reporter, and ever since, French politics has been one of my passions. In this presidential election, there's been little mention of France's Arab and black minorities. There's been plenty talk of security, immigration, but little of opportunity. To explore the situation of the state of France's Arab minority, I went back to my roots.
You're most welcome.
It's great to be back here. It's been 25 years since I was here as a student.
The real name is Théâtre Émile Boutmy.
At the time, I was one of few black students. One of the biggest changes since then has been this elite school has opened itself up to affirmative action in a way unmatched among the French elite.
Vous êtes d'où, enfin, d'origine?
Youssef Shab, where are you from?
I'm from eastern France, in Moselle. My parents are Moroccan.
Un peu plus de 30 ans.
They came here more than 30 years ago. I was born in France, I grew up here. My father was one of the last miners in France. I can tell you that what really changed since you were here is that Sciences Po is a lot more diverse, a lot more open.
C'est beaucoup plus diversifié, beaucoup plus ouvert qu'avant.
Dans cette campagne électorale.
In this French election campaign, one has not heard a lot about opportunity for minorities.
When the people who live in the suburbs see that there is a crisis and the political candidates don't really address that crisis, they don't be surprised if you see more tensions.
Si la situation sociale se crispe.
I went to see one of the suburbs that burned in 2005, Sèvres, a few miles north of the chic areas of Paris where I was a student. I grew up in an American housing project not unlike this one in Trenton, New Jersey. I benefited from affirmative action attending Stanford University, and without it, I wouldn't have received the education that allowed me to end up at the New York Times. As Barack Obama said, I benefited from affirmative action.
Right here is where they threw rocks onto the police, you know.
This is one of the most dangerous, drug-infested projects in France. I'm from an area much like this one back in the States.
So you recognize the hood?
This is the neighborhood center, where Elias and others who have made it to college try to inspire younger kids to try to get out of the hood.
Les plus courageux s'accrochent, mais beaucoup décrochent. Mon projet professionnel, le but que je vise, c'est de devenir journaliste.
I would love to be a journalist.
On vient filmer, les quartiers, ils sont filmés.
The problem is that journalists just turn up when there is a riot.
Il y a un journaliste qui vient que 10 jours dans les quartiers et qui montre les 10 jours noirs de ces quartiers. C'est logique.
Focalise pas sur ça.
We ignore that stuff. We just concentrate on what we need to do to succeed.
On doit faire pour réussir.
Cette discrimination positive aux États-Unis, ça a marché.
What the young lady was describing was the fact that they're not too worried, the young people here in the French ghettos, quote unquote, about what other people say about them or whether or not they're being ignored in the French election campaign. They say they understand that to get out, they have to do it on their own.
Soit chez les hommes et les femmes politiques, ou soit chez les minorités eux-mêmes.